Morning, everyone. How are you all doing this morning? I hope you are blessed and highly favored of the Lord. I have a question for you. Before I run my question, I had a dream back in November that I'm going to share with you. I've been wondering when it was time to drop the dream, and I've picked up that it's now. It ties in with the election, and it ties in with the time after the election. Or maybe I should say times, plural, after the election. When it ends, I don't entirely know, but I think it is definitely tied in right now. So, my question for you as Bible-believing Christians is this. Do we actually believe in the Bible? Do we actually believe what it says? Do we have faith in what it says? And if we do, it needs to look like something. You see, the Bible says we are a chosen people, a holy nation, a royal priesthood. You cannot be a royal priesthood and a victim at the same time. That is an impossibility. So, do we identify with the God of the Bible? Or do we identify with popular culture? There are 98,000 abortions every month across the nation of America. 98,000 abortions every month this year. That works out at 1.175 million or 1.675. 1.176 million abortions by the end of the year. You see, once again, it goes back to what I initially said. The Bible says, I had a plan and a destiny for you. Jesus has a plan and a destiny for you. For a future and a hope. Jesus had a future and a hope for every single one of those souls. Every single one of those 1.175 million souls, Jesus had a plan and a destiny for. God the Father says, I knew you from before the foundations of the earth. You see, we are all going to be standing at the pearly gates. The Bible says that we will be held account for every word spoken. Every idle word spoken. Well, I think it goes a little further than that. I also think we're going to be held, yes, we'll be held accountable for every idle word spoken, but I think we will also be held account for every word we should have spoken that we didn't. This is a time we need a voice. This is not a time to become jelly-backed. This is not a time to become limp-wristed. This is when the sons of God the sons and daughters, but the sons of God need to arise. The earth groans under the weight of sin. Waiting for the sons of God to arise. You see, we are meant to be reigning in heavenly places with Jesus on earth. May your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And here we sit. 41 million Christians not voting. I don't want to be, and I don't want you to be, one of those people. But Lord, Lord. And Jesus says, but I never knew you. You didn't have my heart. All those times you could have used those lips, that tongue that I gave you, your free will, your free vote, your free choice. Every time you could have used it, you never did. You see, I'm all about freedom. Individual freedom, personal freedom. For you and for that unborn baby. See, that unborn baby has a future, a hope, a destiny. And it's getting snuffed out. And as Christians here on earth, we will be having to hold account for that. We will. We can be like Athaliah and Jezebel, building high places, and Ahab, building high places where they sacrificed babies to Moloch and Baal. Or we can be like young King Joash, going up and tearing down his ancestors' high places, Athaliah's high places, cutting down Athaliah's groves. We can be like Jezebel and Ahab, or we can be like Elijah. We have a choice. And when we stand idly by, we are making a choice. Silence is consent. You know, we've been asleep for a long time. We've almost become ashamed of the Bible. We've almost become ashamed of looking and acting different and speaking different. We've become ashamed of that. Everything is coming out of the closet. I mean, dude, everything is coming out of the closet. I think it's time the bride of Christ comes out of the closet. Wakes up and comes out of the closet. Everything demonic and evil gets to have a say. Why doesn't the bride of Christ get to have a say? We got to wake up. It is time. It is time. We get a choice whether we want to slow down evil, slow down the blue tide of evil at the ballot box, or step aside and let it flow. I'm not here to vote for her. We know who she is. I don't need to say the word. Whether we vote for him, we know who he is. Now, I'm not here to say that Trump is a perfect man. Far from it. He's a sinful man just like the rest of us. But he is trying. And it's our job to vote the closest thing to heaven. To vote the closest thing to heaven. I'm not voting for her. I'm voting for him. So, let me run this dream right quick. Time's running. I was walking on the earth, and all of a sudden Jesus came up behind me and picked me up. And he took me up into the heaven, you know, on the ground, just below me. And he took me up to this bird's eye view of heaven. There was a mountain in the middle of it, and there were these giant polished limestone white walls. Had turrets all along the wall, all the way around. And there were angels and watchmen in the turrets, in the towers, watching. They had torches, and they had bow and arrows on their backs, and spears in their hands, and they were all on the wall. all of a sudden from the two turrets right by the gate, the one on either side of the gate posts, if you would, but from either side, there was an angel walked out and walked to the top of the gate, and he grabbed a trumpet and he blew a trumpet, shrill trumpet blast, just ripped through the cosmos. At that same moment, from underneath the mountain came this rumble. It was kind of like, it sounded kind of like this, like, right? And from around the corner, they were coming from chambers underneath the mountain. They came around the corner, circled around the bottom side of the mountain, and started marching out towards the gates. As they came to the gates, they stepped off out of heaven and into the cosmos, into the inky blackness. And now I said inky blackness, but they were stars, brilliant stars all through the sky. But it was black, it was jet black with these brilliant stars all around heaven. As they stepped out of heaven and into the cosmos, this rainbow bridge kind of came out, kind of sweeping out and down towards Earth. And each step they took, the rainbow bridge went out in front of them. About, just kind of swooping out, right? And then Jesus said to me, now I never got to see him, but I know it was Jesus. He said to me, "Who on earth will stand? Who on earth will open the gates to let the heavenly armies in?" And then he said it again. "Who on earth will stand? And who will open the gates to let the heavenly armies in?" And then he said it again. "Who on earth will stand? And who on earth will open the gates to let the heavenly armies in?" And then he turned to me, he said, well, I couldn't see him, but I knew he was addressing me. He said, "My Father's armies are marching out on the gates of hell. Will you stand with them?" And I, for one, I am going to stand. I am not going to be limp-wristed in this moment. I am not going to be jelly-backed in this moment. And I would encourage each and every one of you to stand. Heaven and hell are real. And people need to know. People need to know. We need to love people. We need to be merciful and just and kind and patient with people. I'm not saying love everything that they do, but we need to be loving with people. We need to show people a different way. Show them a different way of life. Anyway, on that note, everyone, I love you. I bless you. I'm praying for all of you. I encourage you to join me in prayer. And let's go out and try to turn this thing around. Love you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.